Hey everybody, it's me, Kathy Griffin, and I come to you today with the tale of two Harveys. Not just Harvey Weinstein, TMZ's Harvey Levin. So some of you may have seen a really vicious interview that my former boss, Andy Cohen, my boss of 10 years, did for TMZ. So TMZ is a blog and it's a guilty pleasure, and I get it. But unfortunately, it's really influential and a lot of people really believe it. So I woke up to this voicemail today on my phone. So for those of you that think, I took the picture with the Trump mask and that thing's all over, it's not at all over. It's still going on, and in fact, it's gotten worse for me. So this is what I woke up to today.
Hey Kathy, it's Harvey Levin. How are you? It's Friday afternoon. If you have a minute, could you give me a call? I am at 818-972-0014. Hope all is well.
So that's his number, and I don't have a minute to call him. Maybe you do. The reason I did that is that during the entire Trump scandal, I was doxxed so much that people obviously got my phone number and my address, and the Trumpers came after me. And I just want you guys to know, Harvey Levin, a blogger, is very much in bed with everybody from Hollywood to Donald Trump. So during my 2-month investigation, phone numbers got out of my mom, and my mom got death threats at her retirement village, and my sister, while she was dying of cancer, got death threats at her apartment. So that's why I'm putting that out there. Now, I know because I did that, I'm probably gonna have this taken off social media right away or whatever. So I'm actually asking you guys if you can preserve this tape in some way and maybe spread it around. I don't know. Oh, and by the way, Harvey, where the fuck did you get my personal cell number? And who the fuck do you think you are harassing me on my cell phone, calling me directly? Where'd you get my number? Your good friend, Lisa Bloom. And I get it. I know the haters are gonna say, well, if you can't take it, don't dish it out. But I'm a comic. So, if Oprah wants to come for me, I kind of deserve it. Ryan Seacrest wants to come for me, all right, I have it coming. But Andy Cohen, I didn't call you. You shouldn't have come for me. Let me tell you a little bit about Andy Cohen. He was a miserable boss for all those years. I mean, I think in the 6 seasons that we did My Life on the D List, I think Bravo visited the set twice. 8 Emmy nominations, 2 wins. I mean, I don't know. I didn't know the whole time I was working there, I didn't know that Andy Cohen wanted to be me. For example, I hosted this award show one time called the A-List Awards. Actually, they did it twice. I didn't know Andy Cohen was on the red carpet trying to be funny, asking questions on bravotv.com. I didn't know that when they ended the D-List and I desperately wanted to do a talk show, Andy Cohen would be the first television executive in the history of television to give himself a talk show that seems to get picked up every season. But I can tell you a couple of personal things. All right, so a lot of people, they're fans, right? And I get it. If you like TMZ and you like watching Housewives, fine. And by the way, shout out to Bethany Frankel, who chartered 4 planes and went to Puerto Rico and actually helped people. But people like Andy Cohen and Harvey Levin, who honestly just live to take women down, we need to speak up about. So I'm gonna go back to TMZ for 1 second, because if you look at that site over and over and over, they've done hit pieces on me to the point where it's actually affected my career. For example, when the Trump mask photo came out, why did TMZ need to report every single one of my shows that was canceled in real time? Why? What was the point of that? What do they care if I had a show canceled at the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank, New Jersey? It feels targeted. And now that we know that Harvey Levin is very much in bed with the Lisa Blooms of the world and, covering for people, and Tyler Shields, who took the infamous photo of me holding the mask, he's the one who told me that 2 people at TMZ told him Harvey Levin speaks to Donald J. Trump multiple times a week. Is that okay with you guys? The president is talking to a gossip blogger? All right, back to Andy Cohen, because there is coordination. One thing I just have to say, because if he's gonna go for me, I gotta be honest. I get tweets sometimes, and they're from fans that don't understand that I have a problem with Andy and that he really harassed me and treated me really poorly. For all of you that tweet me and say you wish I would go and watch What Happens Live and you like that show and you think I'd be great on that show, let me clear that up. I've actually done Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen twice in the, I think, 10 years it's been on. And I've never said this before, obviously, but both times I did the show, right before we went live, Andy Cohen privately asked me in an office in Embassy Row, which is the production company that does that shit show, if I wanted to do blow. All right, I've never had a drink in my life. You guys know I'm no prude, but I'm like kind of a straight edge. I thought he was kidding the first time. Just so you know, Jimmy Kimmel or Seth Meyers has never asked me to do blow before going on their show. No one from The View has ever asked me to do blow before a show, so I was hoping he was kidding. So the second time I do the show, same thing. So once again, we're alone in an office in Embassy Row, and he's like, "You want to do some coke?" And I'm thinking, he's serious. Like, so I know trust me, he's gonna say he was kidding and everything. No, he was asking me to do cocaine with him. That made me very uncomfortable. It was the two of us in a room. Michael Davies was nowhere to be found. No one was there from Bravo. And that's why I don't do that show. I thought that was weird. And I don't know why he gets away with that. Okay, as long as I'm calling up Bravo and NBC Uni, because just so you guys know, I'm fully aware that I will never work there again or any of their owned and operated. It's like, I understand what I'm doing, but I really feel it's important that I am honest about this stuff. So I'm sorry, I got to get into the women who are complicit. So during my years at Bravo, all these women went along with all of it. Lauren Zalaznick was a big executive there, didn't protect me. Now she, I think she was fired, and the woman who has her job is named Bonnie Hammer. So I don't think I could pick Bonnie Hammer out of a lineup. So obviously she wasn't very invested in my work there. And then later on, when I went on to do Fashion Police, it was the same freaking group of people. Andy Cohen, Bonnie Hammer, Frances Barrick, and you guys know how that ended. A wall of shit fell on me after that experience too, because I left that show because I didn't feel like they were doing Joan Rivers' legacy right, and I didn't feel like I could do a good job there. So that, of course, blew up in my face because it was a coordinated attack. And I'm sorry, I have to call up these women like Fran Barrick, who was supposedly my executive. And after the D-List, I did a talk show for 2 seasons called Kathy, and I had a blast doing it with no support. So Michael Davies was the producer, and he said the only way this show will get picked up is if I produce it, because they can't stand you and they like me. And I had a meeting with Frances Barrick in her office, and my then publicist Whitney Tancred, who was a friend, and she turned on me too, and that one just hurts on a personal level. And I said, well, Fran, you know, if we do a talk show, you're sure that Andy's not going to try to squash it? And she said, no, I mean, of course not. It'd be different, like Chelsea. I mean, I wish we had Chelsea. And I said, well, I did get you guys 2 Emmys. And she said, well, we got you 2 Emmys. So, by the way, you should know that when Andy Cohen is running around saying he doesn't know who I am, he actually has 2 Emmys from my life on the D-List as a producer. His are fake. Mine are real. And other women there, gosh, I'm sorry, but Amy Introcaso Davis, you didn't protect me. Jen Levy, you didn't protect me. They had never even done a special before my first special there. I delivered those specials, not for Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, tens of 20s, millions of dollars, but like for a very, very low price that they never would have offered a guy. So I got to complain about this stuff. And these women need to do right by other women. All right, regarding TMZ, I know it's a guilty pleasure, but this is a deeply misogynistic website. And even if you look at their coverage of the Weinstein case, for example, I looked it up today, and the only thing they covered with Ashley Judd, think of how difficult it was for her to sit down with Diane Sawyer and tell her story. And TMZ runs a photo of her with her face looking contorted. That's it. Every time they cover women, it's always their cellulite, and the ageism is out of control with this guy, Harvey Levin. I mean, every picture of an actress over 40 and God forbid 50 is, you know, how hideous they are and how attractive they used to be. And, you know, this hurts me as a longtime ally of the LGBT community. Like, I don't know, Harvey Levin, have you ever done anything honorable ever? I've also canvassed door to door. And I have been an ally of the community long before you were out. So what do you do except tear women down and make a bunch of money? And your TV show is such bullshit because you act like you're part of this like multi-culti world, and you've got people of color and women of all shapes and sizes, and yet in our private conversations, you're no different than a straight up deplorable. Like you are the gay male version of Kellyanne Conway. So you know the discussion that we had when I was hawking my book on your shit show, because when you're 56 years old and you're me and you don't have a television show, you will do just about anything to sell a book, even go on TMZ. And remember you pulling me aside and trying to like brainwash me into being a Trump fan, me of all people? And I tried to say, Harvey, you're a gay guy. You think Trump gives a shit about you? You think the Republican Party has a lot to offer gay men? How is that going? So I just want everyone to know, TMZ is very much in bed with this administration. Just look at it. If you don't believe me, just look at it. But the idea that Harvey Levin has like a vault in back with servers and dirt on everybody, like that's what you do, dude. I try to make people laugh. That's all I want to do. If you and Andy Cohen and all these other complicit bitches could just stop and just let me do my job, I just want to make people laugh, all right? So people should know that what you're going to do to me, because I know what you're going to do to me. You already called me. What was that for? Blackmail? A threat? You have an embarrassing tape on me? I ran out of fucks to give, Harvey. I don't give a fuck. Certainly about you or Andy Cohen, who seem to be lacking a skill set, if anyone hasn't noticed. Like one time I asked the great feminist icon, I said, as a joke, I said, which has done worse to hurt, the women's movement, the Kardashians or the housewives, as a joke. And Gloria Steinem says, oh, the housewives by far. And I said, really, why? And she goes, well, at least on the Kardashians, they show interracial relationships. Yeah, look at all the shows on Bravo. It's middle-aged women pulling each other's hair out. That's not what we do, Andy, Harvey, your little besties. So when Andy Cohen did his little stupid rant about me, and you were so thrilled to put it on TMZ, and then I see that you personally retweeted it, yeah, this is coordinated. I'm on to you. I'm letting everybody else know what's going on. Now let me break it down for you how the agency and publicity business works. So I fired William Morris after the Trump photo because they just ran for the hills. And they actually have the nerve to send me a letter saying that they want 10% of my future earnings for the rest of my life. Well, you can all go fuck yourselves because I was already on the D list and doing specials when I went with you guys. Also, the head of the agency is named Ari Emanuel. Perhaps you've seen him in the lobby of Trump Tower. So the last email I got from Ari, my agent, oh, he's like family, was an email he sent asking me to donate to his brother Ram's mayoral campaign, to which I responded, is this a joke? And that was how many years ago, and I've never heard from him since. My female agents, I'm sorry, Nancy Josephson, you did not protect me. Publicists, Cindy Berger, you did not protect me. But here's what you don't know. I heard the tape of the two of you talking to Jeff Zucker. A couple of years ago, I got into a fight with Jeff Zucker. He is the head of CNN, and I know him for a long time because frankly, he was my first boss at NBC. And after I was on a show called Suddenly Susan, Jeff was gonna put me in a fancy sitcom and then decided to just kick me over to Bravo, where a reality crew would just follow me around for 6 months a year and make 8 episodes. And I let him film it in my house, and it didn't even occur to me to charge them like filming rent for my house until season 6. I was so naive and just so happy to be on TV and making people laugh. So a couple of years ago, I got into a fight with Jeff Zucker because after doing New Year's Eve for all those years and really co-producing it, writing all the material, I had the audacity to ask for a raise. So when my agents wouldn't do it, I called him personally. And I wish I had a tape of that call because I literally screamed at him, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Well, I guess no one talks to Jeff Zucker like that because he slammed the phone down and then he called Cindy Berger, my then publicist, who totally took his side. He called Nancy Josephson, my then high-powered agent at William Morris, who totally took his side. And then someone else said, if you really want your job back, and I did enjoy doing New Year's with Anderson. I really loved him, okay guys? Like, I'm honest about it. I actually called back Zucker and cried to get my job back. And I'm embarrassed to admit that, but I did. So, like if you guys see the housewives coming at me and stuff, taking Andy Cohen's side, don't be too tough on them. They're just trying to keep their gigs. So yeah, I think I'm like the strong bitch and everything. No, I called Jeff Zucker and sobbed. Please take me back. Please, I was so wrong. You're the great Jeff Zucker. Because I wanted to do the gig. It was fun. And so he rehired me at a 20% discount. So I just want you to know, I'd like a refund from all of them, frankly. You know I'm not going to get it. And the reason I'm doing this tape is because of the Trump photo, because of the faux outrage that was pushed by Anderson's tweet and TMZ and obviously, literally, the federal government. I'm the first person to be put under a federal investigation by the Department of Justice for 2 months at the taxpayer dollars expense. I'm putting this tape out because I'm now on a world tour and it's selling out. And so far, every night, the audiences have stood at the end of every show, and that is a fact. So when the bots go on your timeline and say that that didn't happen, they're bots, and that's their game. But I just want you guys to know that tonight I have a show in Melbourne, I'm very excited, and I have a show in Perth, Australia after that, and then I have a show in Singapore. And the reason I'm making this tape is everybody has scared the hell out of me that I'm going to be detained because I'm on the Interpol list. So look up what the Interpol list is. I've also been told I'm on something called the Five Eyes list. I was on the no-fly list for 2 months. So I've been detained alone at every single airport I've gone to. So when I go to Singapore, if I just don't return, I just want you guys to know that's why. Because I took a picture of a mask with ketchup on it. It was not illegal. You may have hated it, but if any one of your kids ever took that picture and put it on Twitter, they shouldn't have to be on the Interpol list or be detained or be under a federal investigation. So wish me luck on this tour. 15 countries, 23 cities. All I want to do is do my job and make people laugh. And one last thing. Hey Jeff, Happy New Year.